Again on time on Monday into the December of 2024, and it is wedding season, it is cricket season, it is a mixture of both. My name's Avnish Hegde, and as you can see, we've got the white and black of cricket, and we've got the men who matter of the Monday Night Live. I'm talking about Nikhil Popat, the ever smiling Nicky P is the best way to introduce him. You can follow him already because he predicts cricket for a living, and of course Akshay Kumar Swami in the black of cricket.com, doing great things in terms of IPL auction and all of that. Guys, good to see you. First with Akshay. Apparently, you've been down with the flu. Is that because of the IPL fever catching on, and how?
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's been a very bad bout of flu slash fever slash viral. Recovering from it, trying to recover from it. A glass of mushroom soup definitely does not, harm my causes there. But yeah, all in all, doing well. But yeah, I hope the flu just gets done. I mean, I get done with it ASAP.
So cheers to your mushroom soup from my vodka soda, because I've been at a wedding practicing the Sangeet, because the wedding's actually in Sri Lanka. So kudos to Tanya. I'm shooting from her house. But Nikhil, how are you in Mumbai? Lots of cricket gone on yet again, but I'm guessing apart from cricket, there's also life. So tell me about your weekend and how it was.
Yeah, good break. I think last week was hectic. Plenty of eyes on this though. So it was a good, in terms of cricket as well, there has been a lot of test cricket going on. But good to take some time off. There is a match season coming up. So yeah, we try and mix and match and see what we can do.
Indeed, I like the pink ball little prop over there, because we're going to be talking about the Day Night Test, which starts on the 6th of December. India, Australia, fantastic game to look at. Even though India have gone 1-0 up, lots of people thinking Australia will come back into it. So we'll get into that in just a bit. There's lots more, as the thumbnail suggests. We're going to get into the SMAT in terms of some crazy stories over the weekend. I'm talking about Urval Patel. I'm talking about Hardik Pandya and his stunning catch. I'm talking about Delhi using 11 bowlers. I'm talking about even the super over and Harpreet Brar doing something incredible there. So SMAT talk, rest assured. We'll also be picking up the bones about our IPL Unsold 11. It's way better than all the other channels putting out theirs. I can give you some sort of conviction in there. And more importantly, like I said, Adelaide and all the focus over there. If we're lucky, we'll also get time to speak to KL Raul's close friend and Karnataka cricketer. I won't give the name away just yet, but if he does agree to pop on, it'll be great, because we'll ask him about the KL Rahul conundrum as well. So quickly, like and subscribe. I know we're doing this yet again, and it's episode 56, and we're literally 200 odd away from 100K, and how that will make us all glee at cricket.com. It's unbelievable. Just a word on that, boys. We've come a long way. It was just a moment of reflection for me earlier this morning. New week, new beginnings, so on and so forth. But 100K, Akshay, just the mere mention of that just sits well with you?
Of course, it'll definitely sit very well with me, to say the least. I mean, it's not just about us coming a long way. It's a milestone. It's something to look forward to. Hopefully, the first of many such milestones. It's just another corner that we've come across. But yeah, it feels good. It is sort of a reflection of how much work we've put in, and especially this year, 2024, has been a great year for all of us. The three of us, not just Monday Night Live. In terms of the content that we've put up across platforms, it's been my first full year with cricket.com. So that way, again, lots to look forward to. Hopefully, 2025 will be onwards and upwards, and there'll be a lot more milestones coming there.
Indeed, and you've been a big part of it, and so is Nikhil, because Nikhil also, I feel like he's just been part of cricket.com for all eternity, and he's just been fantastic as an addition. Nix, what's your stand-up moment in this road to 100K for us? Because, like I said, fantasy, live shows, World Cup, IPL, you've been there, done it, bro. But like essentially being part of our channel, what gives you so much satisfaction?
Just being able to cover cricket with people who actually like cricket. And it's a cliche, but I really love and admire the discipline. So I think there's one thing, the one word that I keep saying even for MNL is discipline, because to do this day in, day out, if you've known MNL, you've seen we've done this on Christmas, on New Year's, and again, we may sound like broken records, but there are things that we keep at stake because we want to make this work. So very, very proud and privileged to be part of this. I remember when I came in, vastly different setups, different type of cricket we were covering, and now the cricket is still the same, but just the journey from what all cricket.com is offered, whether it is Crickletics, whether it is teams, whether it is coverage with Hindi live, everything has just come through so much. When you talk about the fan camps, sledge walks, it just keeps on giving. So Very, very happy, and may this partnership continue without any runouts. Thank you.
No, well summed up, and I echo those thoughts completely because we've actually given the average cricket fan everything he or she wants: live shows, ground reactions. We've given match footage also in this glorious road to 100K. So, what are you guys waiting for? If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to cricket.com. And we're here every week in terms of doing a weekly podcast. We're doing the Hindi lives as well. And the best part about cricket.com, and I know Nix and Akshal agree with me, is the fact that we actually take everyone's comments and make them heard, right? So that's the cricket.com community we built. Path going on to say the reports of Rahani being KKR captain just insane. What a poor decision. Again, rumors. We're still months away from the tournament, so let's not get into it so much. Is it Mayank Agarwal? No, it's not Mayank Agarwal, but keep trying in terms of guests that could pop up on MNL tonight. Rahani was picked up for being captaincy option, but I don't know how the playing 11 will look like. Yeah, 75 lakh for a captain. That's a steal, maybe in IPL history as well. Parth saying Satvik is such a poor call. I can't wrap my head around it. And Nicole, if you're new to the channel, saying great content, guys. Please, we will take all your questions and, of course, your opinions on the Monday Night Live if you're joining us new, Nicole. One suggestion, come live when you hit 100K. That was Akshay's suggestion to me earlier this afternoon. So we'll do that wherever we are. We'll try to quickly hop on and get all your appreciation and love on board. Right. People getting appreciation and love on board is the Team India, because what they pulled off in Perth was absolutely ridiculous. And now the question remains, boys, who should start in Adelaide? Let's start a preview for this second test, the day-night test. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of day-night test cricket. Nikhil already has his pink ball prop, and we'll show you what India has done in their last test as well. Lots to get into, the past, the present, and the future of day-night test cricket. But just generally asking Akshay from top of my head, pink ball cricket, does it excite you, mate? Yes or no?
I'll say yes. Yeah, that does excite me.
And what is the most compelling sort of thing about test match cricket played in the night?
Not just that, it adds a different dimension, especially the twilight phase, sunset ke time pe there is like the way the breeze follows and how the ball moves around a bit more even then, despite the ball being slightly older. So it adds a bit of it adds a different dimension, like I said earlier. And importantly, it also makes it a lot more viewable from a fan POV. Having only day tests aren't exactly the most the most easily viewed experience for fans, especially in the Indian subcontinent. Indian summers, we know, are very harsh, and not just the players but the fans as well. So that way, day-night tests offer a nice little respite. And on top of that, just being able to watch a game of test cricket in the evenings, I don't know, there's something very romantic about that as well. I don't know if it's got to do with me and this generation probably seeing that, but I did enjoy myself watching it live when India last played a pink ball test match, which was in Bangalore against Sri Lanka. So that was great fun. So yeah, I'll definitely say a massive yes to that.
Nice to get the ritual in. Good job. Well done. Well done.
Avnish last week was so confident and saying not once this year. This is my first time. Now 2 and 2. Let's see if 2 brings in 3.
And both, it was the bloody grey goose which let me down. But anyway, jokes apart, Nikhil, when we mentioned day-night test cricket and Indian cricket, would you have liked to see more in the last couple of years, especially at home? Because when we cast our mind back to 2019, yes, we played Bangladesh in Kolkata, Virat got some runs and so on and so forth. And then that 36 all-out immediately comes to mind. Do you think that format of the game or that subtlety of the game should probably have been more that way in 2024? How do you see it?
Yeah, 100%. I think that is something that should be part of our test cricket culture. I mean, we saw what happened when India played England in Ahmedabad. So conditions were different then, but you see, India is any which ways a country where you can get a lot of variety of conditions, and if you add the pink ball to it, it will really just make it work that much more. So I generally feel that at least every year or every 2 years there should be at least one pink ball test, because see, if you are going to play it away from home, you might as well just do it at home as well and get those crowds in as well. So yeah, 100% more pink ball tests, and maybe the future might be pink ball test cricket only. Who knows?
Yeah, interesting that you say that, because I was wondering about India's record in pink ball test, but thanks to producer Shaunak and graphic designer Manish, we've got those stats for you. In fact, let's put that out right now, because it is not that bad, because they won 3 out of 4 and they lost that one, which stinks still today, the 36 all out in Adelaide. Funnily enough, 4 years later, will it be the same story? Hopefully not. But the recent one being against Sri Lanka in Bengaluru, that one was the start of essentially my poor health. But then, of course, I remember
Oh,
that because of that bullshit test match. But yeah, nonetheless, good stuff. I just want to reflect largely, guys, about the day 9 test records for each team. And it looks something like this, with Australia absolutely killing it. And they have a 100% record in Adelaide as well. 91.67 overall, just losing one. I'll give you guys points in the comments if you guys can tell me who it is, because obviously the answer is obvious. But because our cricket community is so smart, just testing you guys earlier before Akshay's Howzzaat. India, like I said, 3 out of 4. Others have played a few. You expect Australia and England to be there. And not to forget, even Bangladesh and Zimbabwe getting a pink ball test each, which they lost. So again, coming back to this pink ball test, right? Who should start, lad? Because I know we've all prepared our 11s and we'll get to it in just a bit. But Rohit back, he didn't open in that Prime Minister's 11. So, Nix, again, you were kind of vociferous on Twitter and on the WhatsApp group. So, you go first here. What is your 11? We'll put it up for the viewers right now of both teams, and we'll do the same with Akshay and me. So, next, talk to me through your selections, please.
yeah. So I think the team is unchanged. Unchanged in terms of just the two changes. The bowling attack is unchanged for me. I don't see any changes there. Rohit comes in. There was a star. The star is against Rohit there. That I don't know if he'll open. I think it is too drastic a call. I don't know what was the rationale behind him not opening in that warm up game. Maybe 50-over fixture. Maybe he just wanted Rahul to continue. So that I think is the only question there. But otherwise, I think those are the only two changes. Devdutt and Kuljarel go out, and Rohit and Shubman Gill come in at one end for his drop. For Australia, I think it will just be one change. Making too many changes will not reflect well on them, especially in Adelaide, a place where they have dominated pink ball cricket. So for me, just one change there, because Josh is injured, Scott Boland comes in. As simple as it is. And Mitch Marsh, I think we've heard from him in terms of I'm good to go. That's the quote that I read. So I feel they will play him and may only try Bjorn Webster in the coming games.
Okay, interesting 11s there from Nikhil. Of course, you guys can clip it out for your fantasy picks as well, because they will be putting on a show very shortly. I'll come to Akshay's in a bit, but this was Nikhil's, and it's interesting to see that he's gone for the choices that would probably be in reality as well. Akshay,
Yeah.
I just want to see yours and how much you kind of disagree or agree with Nikhil. What does yours look like? And you've gone for Rohit Sharma to bat it 6. Jesus Christ. Are you kind of going back and giving him a life is full, come a circle sort of vibe?
I mean, I just don't want to, tinker around with something that's worked for India, and that was, their opening partnership. Make no mistake, whoever did well in the middle order, of course, kudos to them. Kohli's stun was fantastic to watch, but it all was possible only because KL and Jaiswal, both of them had it in them to blunt the new ball out, to spend some time there without having to worry too much about runs. And I don't know if Rohit Sharma has it in him to be able to do that. And playing a pink ball test match first up again won't be easy. So I would ideally want India to play this 11 simply because it makes a lot more sense. In terms of the options that Nikhil has gone for, I've also gone with the same. I don't think player-wise we have any differences. It's just about Rohit Sharma not having to open, simply because KL and Yashasvi looked very settled. They looked very much at ease with each other as well. There was the partnership looked very good. It wasn't just about them individually batting well. So I don't want to tinker around with that. And for once, just for once, I don't know, I might be sounding very biased here, but I want fate also to side with KL. मेरे को लगा तो यही है कि भाई काफी बार उनको मतलब he's also had the wrong side of the green rub his way. So I just hope that this time around we will at least see this happen. And रोहित शर्मा के लिए बढ़िया ना है, नंबर 6 पे सेल्फलेस क्रिकेट खेलने का और भी बढ़िया मौका मिल जाएगा उन्हें, ओपनिंग पे नहीं, तो इसीलिए let's hope that happens.
KL Rahul reminds me of a really nice table that is in a Diwali party, right? Where you can just move that table wherever you want in that particular garden or living room. It can be used in terms of you can sit on it, you can clean on it, you can literally put your drink on it, whatever you want to
Tissue
do.
paper
Right?
is what I had in mind, but this sounds more polite.
Indeed, I mean,
KL
sure,
Rahul's
but,
friend is going to come on the show, and we are comparing him to table, tissue paper, and yeah, great, good start.
We'll tell him politely, like, KL, you are absolutely defining the word utility player in cricket. But honestly, no jokes. I mean, that's why I wanted to kind of get one of KL's good friends on. I'm still pinging him on WhatsApp. If he pops on, great. It's a bonus to the show. But coming back to our Adelaide 11s, and Akshay and Knicks have had their go. Similar to mine, but I'm not going for the bizarre Rohit Sharma batting at 6. I like the idea from Akshay, but this is what mine looks like. Rohit back at the top, captaining. Jaiswal, you can't move him no matter what. Gill comes back, but he looked solid in that Prime Minister's 11, that 50. Kohli stays where he is, Pant as well, and KL goes back to his designated 6. NKR has been fantastic, not just in that first test, but even in the Prime Minister's 11. I wanted to go for Ashwin, and I know many people will be like, why Ash? But I just think with the pink ball and the extra lacquer, I feel like Ash, the student that he is, could get a few. Adelaide, again, depends on how India bat first or bowl first. They could have spinners come into play. So Ashwin's already kind of got into the minds of the Aussie batsmen who are searching for runs. So I'm thinking Ash there, and then the bowlers pick themselves in Rana, Siraj, and Bumrah for me. So you guys can let us know in the comments as well. Lots of comments coming through in terms of the pink ball, and like this video, guys, I keep saying this, but I love it when you guys give us appreciation. Akshay did a fucking amazing video about the IPL auction explainer, and that's got about 45,000 views. Amazing job to him, but it would be amazing on y'all if you go quickly like it and tell him that particular video was awesome in the comments. Right, Nicole, beg your pardon, saying, following your content since 7, 8 MNLs, and it's great to have wonderful cricket content after boring Mondays. We're always here, 8 p.m. Just pen it down mentally, make a note in your calendars. 8 p.m. on YouTube, on the cricket.com website. You can't go wrong with that. Ankar Biswas saying, pink ball test is usually conditions dependent. After twilight, during night, the ball does more. Agreed with you. Greg K, who's a usual in the channel, saying, we are probably not playing home pink test because the pink SG ball is unplayable. I don't look at it like that. I just think they could have actually been more flexible to probably shoehorn in a pink ball test. Even in this 5-match test series that we played against England, one of the venues could have hosted that, just to kind of keep that vibe going forward.
Also, to be clear,
India,
BCCI hasn't come out with a statement, right? With regards to day-night tests that we won't
no.
play at home. ऐसा कुछ
No,
नहीं है
no.
ना?
But I think the word there
Go on,
is
Nick.
been
Yeah.
I think the word there has been about the condition of the ball. How even the pink ball that was originally got in, they had to put in the extra lacquer because it wasn't
Yeah.
staying true and it could go soft earlier, and hence the pronounced lacquer and the pronounced seam on the wicket on the ball. Sorry. So maybe that is something they are looking into, and hence maybe you are not seeing the more number of day-night tests. Oh, nice. He's done two on a day.
Lovely.
You know why I'm muting myself so often? Because I don't know if you can hear the faint like hole behind me, and it's just like
Well played, huh?
like wild. Anyway,
Well,
but like I was gonna say, because even Nick keeps bringing the pink ball prop up, the lacquer gets used so much more in the context of pink ball cricket, the conversations of pink ball cricket as well, which is a good point over there. Anka is saying, I agree with Akshay, my 11, all this also the same. Akshay Bhai is scared of Rohit playing selfish cricket for no reason on day one, first session, saying Greg K. And Ashutosh asking as well, Australia tried to extend their batting depth by playing both Webster and Marsh. Again, interesting times for them because they've never been in this position, but I think knowing them, they're never going to be kind of punching anything lesser.
But speaking of Australia's 11, Avnish, you've gone for an interesting pick there. Nathan McSweeney is not a part of Australia's opening pair.
No.
What's up with Sam Constance? You really think he'll be making his debut?
Yeah, so the reason why I put Sam Constance not just in my 11, but also the thumbnails, boys and girls, if you notice that, is purely because there is a recency bias to it. But I've also been kind of hearing a lot of Australian radio, podcasts, doing my research in the video ways, and they all have written a lot of good things about this Constance boy. I like the fact that he had a lot of balls as a batter. Yes, he showed his ticker when he was kind of coming up the short stuff in that Prime Minister's game, but the fact that he reverse lapped I don't know who was, Harshit Rana a couple of times with absolute consummate ease gives me conviction that he could probably start over McSweeney, even though it would be silly to take a guy out who you're just throwing in as a debut this summer. And McSweeney as well, to be fair, hasn't done anything wrong. He's one of those players, I think, even if you look at any of his domestic highlights, knows how to leave the ball well. And more importantly, the cliche in cricket, knows where his fucking off stump is. So I feel even though McSweeney is good, Constance could just be that little spark they need, given that Khwaja the Rock the other end. So coming back to, again, just what you guys feel about India's changes, because Rohit's going to walk in, Gill's going to walk in. Unfortunately for Padikkal and Jurel, they'll miss out because I'm pretty sure 70% of our community 70% of Indian fans would agree with me. Rohit and Gill come in. But anything would you tinker it with the bowling? Or would you be happy with Sundar and those three pacers, boys? Jadeja looked good. Would you throw him in? Because the batting depth he gives you.
Instead of whom? Sundar.
Yeah, Sundar will have to go, unfortunately. Horse courses.
But what's the horse here that's being replayed? What's the course rather that you want to feed the horse? क्या है Australia में?
I'm just saying because Adelaide will be more pace conducive. Jadeja just does better holding roles than Sundar. I know Sundar does give you opportunities to take wickets given the left-handers in Australia, but I don't know. Jadeja, he should play one test. I'm wondering whether it'll be this or Brisbane or eventually only Sydney, Ashwin and Jadeja saved for that test, depending on the weather.
I mean, he would have started for me, but now that they've gone ahead with Washi, I don't think Washi's done too bad to go out. So I'm assuming India will stick to the incumbent there.
Next, you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it would be very harsh, no, to drop Sundar for no fault of him in terms of he's done what is asked of him in the 3 games that he's played, and he's come good. So I wouldn't have minded Jadeja playing. Slightly surprised by how they've used the pink ball test as a time, because you saw Jadeja bowl, you saw Jadeja bat as well. So maybe they just want him to get some game time. I think going by what I heard from Pujara, he said the pink ball gives you lesser time to react. If at all they want to go down that route, I would not mind Jadeja bowling, because we've been harping about him bowling at a very good pace, getting 96, 97, and maybe he can get the ball to do it, because we have to remember the last time India played a pink ball test in Australia, Ashwin was one of the better bowlers in that way. So there is a role for the spinner, but I think kind of side with this line of thought that possibly the baton has already been passed, that Sundar is the guy who we trust first, and maybe that is the reason. The only other change that I was possibly thinking of is maybe Harshit goes out for Akashdeep, but after the 4 wickets that he's taken in that game, I don't think you are going to still Harshit Givai to game better. I don't think that's happening. Even Siraj looked in good rhythm, so yeah, looks very tough. Sorry.
It does. Whoever they pick, I think it'll be something to just check and think about. But having said that, though, let's quickly take a look at some of the comments coming through. Think the management is going to back Sundar to play the main spinner. Don't see Ashwin playing the North Test. Interesting thoughts from Greg there. India's groomed Sundar for life after Ashwin and Jadeja. Conscious looks like Australia's version of Ankrish Raghuvanshi. The flair shot selection is similar. And like that, Neural Hacks with Dasan, welcome to the show always. Guys, let's be honest. What is Australia going to do post pick 3? Scott Boland is still an old one. Who's the next 3? Any thoughts or information? I think they still have Michael Nesser. They have all those kind of bowlers going about, but it's about who they put their eggs in their basket in. And these 3, like you said, have been the holy trinity for Australia. When is the WPL auction? 15th of December, Stimo. We might be doing an auction, might not. Let's see. Akshay dons the responsibilities of all women's cricket going out, so he'll come up with a plan very quickly and he'll let y'all know. Stark Fiver saying Pava. I mean, I don't think Stark's going to get a 5, but could be because of the pink ball and all that stuff. Remember, the last time India played the pink ball test in Australia was Adelaide. Pujara was brilliant, absolutely batting time and how, and then that 36 all out happened. But speaking of which, go check out an unwind that I've done with Bharat Arun, who told us how they literally wore the 36 all out as a badge, and they won the series from there on. Right, let's quickly just finish up this test chat before we move into other things in the world of cricket. Unfortunately, we're not getting that KL Rahul best friend. We might get him at the course of the BGT, and I'll leave the suspense. And if you guys could guess, it'll be great. We also asked you earlier who was the only test, which was the only test rather that Australia lost in the pink ball scheme of things. Can you let us know in the comments? It'll be fucking great. I know there is a few guys who already got it right, maybe, but nevertheless, we'll take a couple of questions just before we wrap up our test match chat. Interspect saying, guys, do you think our 4th or 5th bowler didn't have much to do in Perth? They might have to come to the party in Adelaide. And I think it might go 4 days, 5 days. What's your gut feel, guys, first off, with how the test could ebb and flow? Akshay, I'll start with you. Weather is good. And do you think it could go day 4, day 5?
Day 4, potentially day 5, तो नहीं लगता यार. Again, there might be a lot of baggage from what we saw the last time India and Australia took on in a pink ball test. So that lacquer, it plays a massive role, especially in that twilight situation जहाँ पे मतलब और भी ज़्यादा movement मिलता है, and Australia have got the bowlers to extract that movement. And on top of that, they'll also have someone like Scott Boland who will be fresh. Those fresh legs will definitely come in handy for them. Day four,
But just on their paper, sorry, just on their pacers, because Parth is also asking a pretty valid question in the comments, saying, do you think Australia should have been hit a bit smarter with retaining their pacers over the years? Because suddenly after one injury, their fast bowling stocks don't look great compared to India. So who are their backups, and can you just shed light on that, Akshay?
But first of all, why do you think they don't look at Scott Boland is a more than decent replacement of Josh Hazlewood. So I'm not sure, Parth. I would like to understand more on what are you trying to say in terms of backups. Of course, beyond these three, four, and I'll probably throw in Michael Neser into the mix. उसके अलावा जो भी है ना, there's Lance Morris that comes to mind. There's probably to some extent Jai Richardson, again, been very injury prone. I don't think Riley Meredith has ever gotten a call with red ball.
Do they have a left armer?
There's Spencer Johnson, but who he again hasn't played a lot of red ball cricket for Australia.
Yeah.
Queensland के लिए अच्छा किया है उन्होंने, but I'm not sure if they will groom him straight away. But again, all in all, I don't think it's as dire as you guys make it out to be. Sure, I do agree with you कि they could have been much better in terms of rotating their pacers and grooming in or blooding in youngsters. But ठीक है यार, मतलब they have enough youngsters and जो Sheffield Shield में अच्छा कर रहे हैं. So I don't think Australia will be too worried about it. If anything, it's their batting that they'd be a bit more worried about between the two departments. All in all, Sean Abbott, Aditya, but है option है of course, but I'm pretty sure Australia have मतलब look past him now. I don't see him going. I don't see them going back to him. So yeah, these are the few names. Xavier Bartlett could potentially also get a shout given how well he's been doing with the white ball. तो उनको भी एक मिल सकता है. Apart from that, any other names? Nikhil bhai, Cameron Green, of course, will be there and thereabouts at least.
I think Brendan Dockett is the only guy left who I can think of on the top of my head. He's someone that they could have tried, but see, that's what happens when you lose a test at home. Suddenly there are queries on depth, and in both departments. It's what happened when India lost to New Zealand, and it is what is happening to Australia. When things seemed rosy, you've still seen them rotate Stark. Bolland is played when Stark hasn't, and they've replaced Josh at times with Bolland as well. So that's been there, but it's just one test. I would not read too much into it. Yes, if they lose Adelaide, then we can dive a lot more deeper into both options. Just something on those. We've discussed a lot about the lacquer and twilight conditions. So on the limited sample size so far, reading out to you runs per wicket every single day in the third session. First day, I don't know, sample size or what, it'll shock you. First day, the runs per wicket is 63.7. Highest across any runs per wicket column in that entire test history. So day 1, 63.7. Day 2, say, maza chalu hota hai, 22.5. 31 in the first, 56 in the second, and 22.5 in the third session. Third day, again, reduces further, goes down to 60. So, fourth day, it is 28. Because lesser sample size, only 3 matches there. But first 3 days, 7 innings for the first 2 days. And third innings per 6 matches, 16.1 is the average. So, pehle din pe still looks good to bat with the pink ball. But yeah, day 2, day 3 seem historic data. Again, small sample size, but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, you can always take that data with a pinch of salt. But look, good stats being provided by Nikhil over there, just to give you guys more insight in terms of what we can expect this time around as well. Lots of comments being fired through. Sean Abbott is a shout from Aditya, but Sean Abbott and Brendan Duggett, Spencer Johnson, Jake Nisbet, Brad Webster, Michael Nestor saying.
Okay, these are all the guys who played they played the A tour as well. So.
Yeah, indeed. Also, only recently got to know Jaden Goodwin is the son of former Zimbabwe cricketer Murray Goodwin. Used to love Murray Goodwin. He used to play a lot of county cricket as well. Top order right-hand bat. Notorious saying Aus cricket suffering due to competition for talent from other sports. And what do you think of Hazelwood's injury? Really injured or left out? Really injured. Australia not like that.
Why are you leaving out?
Ankar bhai, एक second. 487 जब इंडिया ने मारा. Do you know the number of runs Josh Hazelwood considered? 28 runs, 28 runs only in over 21 overs, if I'm not wrong. So, you don't leave out your best bowler like that.
Yeah, indeed. And all our 11s would have had Hazelwood, but we just think that he's going to be rested for this. I mean, not rested, but like injured for this. Once Aussies had a batting order like Taylor, Slater, Boone, Mark Waugh, Border, Steve Waugh was absolutely brilliant. Even after that, they followed in similar. Keep your comments coming through. You're watching the MNL episode 56, and you might be hearing the MNL episode 56 on Spotify for all you people over there. Right, we'll get on to the best of the rest and all of that, but good to see that a lot of energy is being shown towards this Adelaide test, because I know there's been a long space between the Perth win and the Adelaide series. There's one question which came in earlier from Kushal Shah, and I know I stuck to my guns in terms of backing India in this. This is the first question which I just want to wrap up this chat with. What were your series predictions, Akshay and Nix, and would you change them after seeing the first test?
I had said 3-1 if I'm not wrong. RC Darshak ke samne main to 3-1 in Australia's favor bola tha, one draw. I don't think a draw is happening even now. So, but tab bol diya tha. Now I'm very, very, very tempted to change it, because the way the first test is gone, and we all know how Australia, if they start on the back foot, it's very hard for them to come back. So I'm very tempted to change. Okay, I'll actually go. I'll go ahead and change it, and I just hope this actually comes through. So I'm manifesting this result basically. I'll say 3-2 India's favor.
Yeah, I was always going 3-2 as well. Before the Perth test even happened, you guys can check me out on record. Nix, what were you going for initially, and are you going to change your predictions?
Yeah, it was 3-2. The 3 was then for Australia, and the star then was also, if Rohit and Virat come into the series, the 3 could be for India. One of them has already come. Hopefully he can continue. And if the other joins in, may the rest be history.
Okay, and just to wrap up, Aditya Bhatt also has a follow-up question saying, after the first test, do you think India have a good chance now to qualify for the WTC final? I know we'll be speaking about South Africa's amazing win against Sri Lanka, the 42 all-out and all of that, and the best of the rest. But just on India's qualification chances, Akshay, what do you feel?
Yeah, they need to win 2 of the remaining 4 tests to stay in contention. So I feel that an India-South Africa final at Lord's is now coming across to be a very likely proposition. And just how it's been, the ebbs and flows, it's great. It started off with India-Australia, then India seemed all out. It was South Africa-Australia. And now the way results have turned in India's favor, I'm just hoping it'll be India-South Africa. That'll be crazy. That'll be crazy.
Okay, super. By the way, lots more comments coming through. Avnish had said 3-1 in his Insta story, and I remember replying to that. 3-1 to India, though. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I said 3-2. Niharika Kanwar, if you're watching for the first time, please subscribe. We're on the road to 100K. Great to see a new name always, and I'm pretty sure you're new to the channel. She goes on to say, hi there, great stuff. Fantastic. Appreciate love from your end. Siddharth saying, I have a strong feeling India will play Ashwin at the Adelaide Oval views. That's what I said, brother. Just go rewind the show and you'll see me penciling Ashwin into my 11. The kind of Jai Mata Di going on this year, better not to predict anything. Enjoy every ball. That's
Yeah,
Nikhil's life motto. Yeah, that is Nikhil's life motto. Anubhav C saying, do you think Scott Boland's form has declined, or is he capable of replicating his standard performance in the WTC final? I know there was a point in time where he used to take Melbourne and its pitch into his pocket, but he's of course delivered apart from that. So I think Boland, if he gets a chance, will trouble India, especially with that nibbling outside off stump line and length. Paras had an earlier question saying, is Bumrah next test captain? Will there be a standing captain for home test? Look, we were debating this in office actually, and because Bumrah is so good, we can rest him in home test. But will that be the case? Who knows? India have traditionally always gone for a batter as a captain. That also needs to be taken in context. The last bowler who was a captain was Anil Kumble. I don't know if they'll do that. Ashwin, I think, is the greatest captain India never had. I don't know if they'll go that, because he's also in the twilight of his career. So, Akshay, Nix, really quick, yes or no? Agree, disagree here with the statement?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I've always said. अगर बुमराह कैप्टन बनता है, it should be only for away tests. घर पे उसको खिला के कोई फायदा नहीं है. No one's going to be the wiser. Which is why I don't think बुमराह को ऐसा कैप्टन बनाना will be easy. Because तुम ऐसा home and away के लिए अलग captains बनाओगे, बहुत रायता फैलेगा. तो रहने दो, just go for someone else. That would be a simpler solution.
Yeah. And for me, Bumrah doesn't have to be the captain to lead. I mean, he can be the bowling captain and
but who is then? Next, Pant, Gill, who is?
To me, Pant is the guy that I had felt before as well, because I feel it's just a little bit more safer, because you want to preserve Bumrah a lot more. That is the biggest bone of contention. if you don't want to preserve him, if you think he'll play every home test, no point making a batter. But I think Pant can play everywhere. I feel he'll also play as a specialist batter after a year. So then I feel Pant is a safer option that way.
मैं वही बोलना था, पंत कीपिंग के साथ कैप्टेंसी would be a bit too much. If he sheds his gloves, then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, because Pant right now, what he's doing in his Test career has just been phenomenal. Nikhil saying Ashwin is busy reviewing the IPL auction. He's not going to play the next 2 games for sure. I hope he does, because he's brought that balance to his life perfectly. India versus South Africa's fingers crossed indeed. Om Prakash Dash, and in fact will quickly reflect on the WTC standings. Yeah, I know I'll bring it up later in the show as well, but just to give you an indication of how things stand today, December 2nd, 2024. Don't shoot us later if you're watching the podcast. But India's still on top. South Africa have gone to second after their win against Sri Lanka, and Australia are third. So there's lots of games still left, but there's movers and shakers 100% in those top 3 for sure. Right, quickly moving on to best of the rest, but keep your comments coming through about everything, even India, Australia rated. If we missed it, we will, of course, take it in the 12th man section. KL fan runs in the series, next opener and captain. I wanted to be that way, but if I say it, they'll just be like, oh, Avnish is the Bangalore boy, bro. Look at the bias. So I'm not going to say it. You guys can say it, and I'll agree with you guys. Ashwin is already preparing for his days ahead as a commentator. It would be a perfect segue in his career indeed. And Introspect saying Bumrah shouldn't be made captain for longevity factor. He should play 80-plus tests and take 350-plus wickets. Maybe more. Maybe replicate a Stain, Anderson, maybe better, both of them. Who knows? Chandran Ramaya, always good to see you. Make Bumrah as captain and Pant as vice captain. Groom him in home tests. Again, man, your guess is as good as ours. We've just lent our thoughts. If you guys are joining us on Twitter, on, of course, YouTube and Facebook, please quickly like this video and follow us for more. We are literally people away, I would say, from 100K on YouTube. Right. We've had about good amount of time on the main chat, which is the Adelaide Test preview. Let's move on to talk about the best of the rest, and that includes our IPL Unsold 11. Let's go. Right, IPL Unsold 11. Me and Akshay were kind of debating on who will go in and how will the team look. We're not just putting in players just for the sake of it. We've given it some thought, and we'll, of course, bounce it off Nick's right now. And please let us know in the chat as well with regards to who fills in the IPL Unsold 11 void. I know the MNL question of the night, which I didn't take, and my producer is going to shoot me, was who starts in Adelaide, but I'll change it right now, Shaunak. I apologize. MNL question tonight: who starts in your IPL Unsold 11? I know all you lovers of our channel love the IPL, so it's something to get into in this Monday evening. If you guys are having a dinner with us, tell us what you're eating, but tell us your IPL Unsold 11. Right, for you guys wondering what our 11 looks like, let's put it out there, and let's, of course, debate this particular 11 right now, because lots of names, beg your pardon, have gone unsold. We've gone for this as our choices. David Warner to captain, Prithvi Shaw to partner him, so it's a Delhi Capital vibe there. Then Mayank Agarwal, because look, he's just a good old friend, so we threw him up there at the top of the order. We failed to find out other Indian batters. We'll come to that. Johnny Bairstow, Johnny, yes, Papa. Are you going to wicket keep? Yes, Papa, 100%. And then Sarfaraz Khan, 100%, bro. You need a scoop or two in T20 cricket, so he filled in for that void. Darren Mitchell didn't get a hit with CSK, but he gets it in the R11. Shardul Thakur, similar sitch. We were just like, mate, you have to start with us. And then KG, because we did that interview and it just went literally on our faces like egg being thrown at us. So we throw him in there. Piyush Chawla, Umesh Yadav, and Mustafizur Rahman. Our graphic designer slash second producer thought it was Mujibur Rahman. You guys can let me know if you guys think it was Mujib or Mustafizur. But Nicks, are we missing any names in this 11?
Pretty much same. I just had alternates for every foreigner spot if you want to go that way. I think David Warner, Ben Duckett, fair option there. The guy who, again, this is the people who I thought maybe sold but went unsold. Shai Hope is a name that you can possibly replace Johnny Bairstow with as a potential option. I also had Rishi Dhawan in somewhere, maybe as an impact player if you want to put him there. And in the bowling section, I was genuinely surprised by Navin Ulagh not getting any bias. I mean, there is still a lot of teams who I feel need a bowler who can bowl at the back end. So Naveen going unsold was kind of surprise to me, unless there is some reason that I'm not aware of.
Okay, interesting. Aditya Bhatt saying Naveed Ulak is a foreign pacer. We're
Yeah.
debating that as well. Kane Williamson, we just don't want to go for big names, Anka. We need to figure out who is actually going to be good in T20 cricket. I know Kane has decent numbers at GT and all of that bullshit. By the way, incredible comment coming through from Norway here. Marco saying, hey guys, Marco here from Norway. I must be the only viewer from here. You are, must be. We'll check the geographical stats on YouTube. Ask Nikhil if he'll still support CSK if the envelope gets opened in the Supreme Court. I'm guessing he saw that Lalit Modi interview with Raj
Yeah.
Shamani, which absolutely, like Akshay put in the WhatsApp group, dhoti kol diya benchud, which is pretty much
दास
apt
वाला
to
अपने
describe it.
डाला है, but ठीक है कोई नहीं.
Yeah.
But
See, I think
yeah,
see what is wrong stays there. I mean, in terms of what's wrong is wrong. You don't have to debate that. And if you support a side for the players, you have to get it. You will get back if that is something that's wrong. So for me, it started with Fleming, and if he's there till the time he's there with MS and of course so many others, you will support them. Baki to, you can't pick and choose. This time I'll support them, and this time I'll not. So you're there, you're there. You're not there, you're not there.
shots fired from Norway. I mean, if you're watching, God bless you from wherever you are. Oslo. I'm a huge United fan, so Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Norway resonates with me. Right. K Singh saying 9 clear at the top of the league and 1-0 up in the BGT. Happy days. Yeah, you absolutely must be loving live K Singh because you're a Liverpool fan. So it is literally on field. If you guys can sense the pun there for all you football lovers. If Dhoni was in the people, would have surely thought this is CSK lineup, has all the favors
Wow.
of CSK lineup. Jesus Christ. Shots are always fired in our comments. I have a question. If MSD gets injured before the IPL, will BCCI have the spine to ban him from the following season? Keep aside. No, man. And again, like, it's all like, never mind. I can't answer this question, Santosh. I mean, I know you're a good friend of the channel. I'll let this one outside off stump. I'll leave it literally. Notorious asking, Sikandar Raza doesn't feature in your 11. Well,
Yeah.
again, that's the thing.
Also,
We were thinking about
just
it.
going back to that, sorry, one thing, Dhoni cannot be banned, like genuinely, because that rule is applicable only for overseas players. So Santosh, MS Dhoni won't be. I mean, I'm genuinely saying so. It isn't applicable to Indians, so you don't have to worry. But yeah, going forward.
Okay, 1 second. So, Akshay, so basically, while making this 11, who are the other names which came into your head? Because, I mean, it's a bang average 11 on paper. They've been rightly left out, not picked in the auction, all these blokes. Easy for me to say, being an armchair critic. But again, Piyush Chawla, Umesh Yadav, is that all we could find, really? Karthik Tyagi, surely, bro.
Yeah.
Karthik Tyagi is whom I suggested, but they were like,
Okay,
"Bhai,
sure.
yeah."
Really, you
मैं
suggested
बोला
the
भी.
name.
Yeah, I suggested Karthik Tyagi in office. क्या बोल रहे हो यार?
You said Jagdish and Suchit.
कुछ तो शर्म कर लो भाई अवनीश भाई कुछ तो शर्म कर लो खुद का
And
नाम
I'll tell
दूसरों
the
की
viewers,
क्या बोलेगा?
one more thing. Instead of Mayank Agarwal here, one down, he wanted to go for Manan Vora. Can you believe that?
I love it. I absolutely love the fact that Avnish has not only thrown me under the bus, he's also gotten into the driver's seat of the bus and decided to run over me. But excellent question from Neural Howzzaat Vasant. Why KG Avnish? Like it seems very odd because there were other big names, but you somehow conspicuously went for KG. कि भाई कृष्णप्पा गौतम क्या कर रहा है वहाँ पे?
Again, matchups, the fact that literally he can take over all those left-handers out there. He spoke about how to tackle Pant as a batter, so obviously he has his plan in place. And the fact that we just felt bad, we were just like throwing KG for good measure there. Karnataka represent. I mean, even Mayank Agarwal had no right entering this 11. So did Umesh Yadav or Piyush Chawla. But look, we gave them the benefit of what they've done in the IPL before. Umesh has been pretty much good as a new ball exponent, so we threw him in there. Notorious having good shots. Murugan Ashwin comes to mind. There's, of course, Jimmy Neesham, who says Sarkaria is another name as well. I have an interesting suggestion for the next mega auction. One of the marquee sets should be a day 2 to make things more dynamic. I mean, again, these are all things that the fans will have in their wish list. But again, good stuff from you on the MNL.
Basic suggestion by Ashwin was also about how players should be allowed to, change their base prices if they go unsold the first time. So before the accelerated round starts, that I actually think is a fair suggestion.
No, but the thing is with that, then you're just like in reality and in public, you're lessening your price and be like, okay, give me 10 lakhs. I want to play. You know what I mean?
Of course. Like Shardul Thakur, if you give him a choice between bhai 2 crore mein unsold jayega ya 50 lakh mein khelega, he'll
But
obviously say
50 lakh also, if he lowers his rate at 50 lakh but doesn't get picked up, then
abhi bhai wo to
And
risk
see, and that is not practical also. I mean, there are so many. You look at India women's, I think they are going to be playing on that day of the WPL outfit, if I'm not wrong. So it is very fair to think that you would want to. Maybe you can collect this data in advance, and maybe
Exactly.
just have conservative base price. No, why would you want to have absorbent base prices and like Umesh Yadav 2 CR? Ishan
But
Sharma had
Shardul
75
Thakur
lakhs.
abhi aap batao 2
See,
crore mein
Shardul,
huge margin, right?
I would not say again. My point of debate here is not Shardul.
same.
Shardul fair price, he's okay, but Ishan Sharma 75 lakhs.
Same.
Umesh
I
Yadav
just
2
want
CR.
to I just want to come in here. Sorry, Nick. I just want to come in here because I just generally feel like even with players being called back into the accelerated process as well, so many of them go still unsold, right? So
Yeah.
it's just about that and how they solve that out. Some people just miss out. There are other cricketers who could still be hoping against hope in terms of if an injury happens, then you can come in as a replacement player and all of that stuff. So again, it's a shot in the dark. Show the unsold 11 once more, saying Santosh Sharma. Well, we'll have it for you. Let's go again. So David Warner's captain, Prithvi Shaw to his opening partner, Mayank Agarwal, Johnny Bairstow, Sarfraz, Dal Mitchell, Chardul, Krishna Gautam, Piyush Chawla, Umesh Yadav, and Mustafizur Rahman. Lots of comments saying, why don't you add someone like Evan Lewis? There's Marvi. There's a lot of things being said in the comments right now. Shardul Thakur in the LSG top order would have been a great fit as the spin basher, saying at their butt. Interesting over there. Shardul would have been sold if he was on day one, saying Path. Again, interesting comments over there. And Marco picking up from where we left off, that comment from Norway saying, yes, I'm in Oslo, guys. I learned about cricket because I had a Pakistan, Sri Lankan, and Indian friends at school. Did you go to school or did you bloody just go to the Asia Cup as your education, which was nuts? Nikhil, I get your point. I used to support RCB when they had Gale Navy, but not anymore. Shambles, mate. It's about loyalty. It's wife, football club, and kids in that order, right? And then
Cricket का क्या इसमें cricket की बात हो रही है भाई.
you substitute the football with the cricket, lad. Obviously, it's just a saying. Anyway, good to see Vikas into the comments. Won't it be a little chaotic, an already chaotic auction? It would. It actually would, with regards
No,
to all the
but
money.
to be clear, I'm not saying कि once they go unsold, call करके बताओ कि भाई मेरे को इतना भी नीचे करो. And what, like Nikhil bhai said, पहले से जब base price set होता है, they should be given an option to also set a second base price. So once they go unsold, from the next round, it will automatically go to the second base price, and you take it from there. Teams, but again, the problem is then teams will exploit this. Teams will be like, "Bhai,
They would just say
to
exactly. It opens a different can of worms that is not needed. Just have a conservative base price. If you are to get money, you will get money anyway. If people want it.
Yeah, and plus, even with this auction just fully culminating in the teams having a certain purse remaining, like RCB have 75 lakhs left and stuff. Like Akshay told me today at office, like it will be carried over for next year. So if you guys are just wondering about that as well, we're clarifying those doubts as well. Vikas has another one in the comments saying, but if the owners know that the prices can go lower, owners will take advantage. That's what Akshay just agreed with as well. Any reasons why IPL teams were low on Umran Malik? I mean, just again, not that he's proved a lot in the tournament, but because of the pace factor, KKR roped him in for 75 lakhs at the dying embers of that particular process. There are many Asians in Oslo, guys, and my loyalty isn't because of yours from Bangalore. The reasons I supported them are so gone. I mean, nonetheless, Marco, fantastic to have you join us from Norway at this point in time. Monday Night Live in India, but Monday afternoon live, I'm guessing, in Norway. They should get away with mega auction once for all. It surely adds to the glamour. The team should be able to build from the squad, not to lose their go every third year, saying Santosh Udupa being an RCB fan. And Akshay agrees with them. Just to finish off our IPL Unsold 11, many random other shots coming through. Nikhil going on to say Steve Smith, our in-house Australian Punjab Kings fan, Anirudh Suresh said the same. Nitin Muthuraman said Priyam Garg. Again, played for SRH, loved by Lara when Lara was coached there, but doesn't find a place in our 11 or any of the IPL teams. Mala Basar randomly saying RCB lacks good middle order Indian batter backup. Indeed, we'll come to that later in terms of all your 12-man questions. Any IPL stuff which we've left out in this show, you guys can get your fix craved there. Final one. If not for KKR, Rahane, Mohan Ali, Umran would have made your answer 11. 100%, we would have thrown him in there. 100% Mohan Ali for sure, given that he's an off
And
spinner. Maybe we would have left out KG in that regard.
maybe Rani
Mega
would have
auction
been the
period should
captain
be
there.
increased.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I said
could have
maybe
been
Rani would
captain.
have.
Could have, literally, absolutely. 3 to 5 years at least. We got these kind of comments, Chandan,
Agree.
prior to the mega auction when we were asking all you guys about all of this. Coach of this MNL Unsold team, Greg Chappell. I mean, just choose the best.
John
Ravi
Buchanan.
Shastri in it. I
More
mean,
like
yeah,
Greg
doesn't have a team.
Jude back.
Exactly. If you had to choose a previous IPL coach to coach this team, try to think.
John Buchanan. No, wait,
No,
no,
Yeah.
someone who's genuinely been bad. Vaisa. John
Generally
Buchanan
been
is-
bad.
John Buchanan.
I would say Ray Jennings would get this group to the top of the
भाई
tree.
रे जेनिंग्स अच्छा क्या भाई आरसीबी के लिए सॉरी
That's what I'm saying. You can choose.
अरे लेकिन बुरा कौन
He's
चाहिए
in
ना
Unsold,
बुरे
ना?
के लिए हाँ
You want an
बुरे
Unsold.
Burak
के-
coach, then I'll choose that guy, bro. What's his name? Deccan Chargers coach.
Darren Lehman
Not Buff.
कब Tom Moody
No, the
Hey, he's a
2008.
good guy.
2008 wasn't really Darren Lehman, bro. It was more.
No 2008 Darren Lehman was at RR so he wasn't the coach let me confirm 2008 Deccan Chargers coach.
And I know 2008 we had Martin Crowe, didn't we?
yeah
RCB.
it was Robin Singh yeah RCB's was Martin Crowe it was Robin Singh for Deccan Chargers wow I did not
Yes,
see that coming.
stack him indeed. By the way, Nicole, Hayes, everyone has great comments and questions. We'll take that in the 12th man section indeed. But that was our IPL Unsold 11. You guys can disagree or agree with us in the comments. Plenty more names to be filled in that one. Let's move on and talk about different other things which have been catching an eye in the world of cricket. New Zealand, England. And one reason why I watched that game is because of a certain Jacob Bethel. What a 50. He's got the second fastest 50 in fourth innings test match history. How about that for a stat? Oh, wait, I will tell you a better stat. What Bryden Cast did in good old Christchurch was the first test, right?
Yeah.
Christchurch, right? I was just going to say good old something. Hamilton, Christchurch, but Christchurch it is. Apparently, Broad and Anderson didn't do this in their
Yes.
careers. Can you tell me what Bryden Cast did in his short test career? That's one of the quiz questions, not the Akshay's main Howzzaat question, but just one of the questions, given the
Simple.
fact that we're talking about New Zealand, England. Next, did you watch all of it through highlights or did you actually
Yeah.
watch some balls in the morning?
No, I caught up with some action, but majority of it was highlights. And I'm very glad because had I seen New Zealand catch like that after the 3-0 at home, they suddenly forgot, can we catch? No. Can we review? No. Can we bat well? No. कर क्या रहे हो भाई मतलब completely beyond me as if they wanted Harry Brook to get a turn and they had तुमने पोप को भी रन मारने दिए so enjoy I mean there's nothing much to add there personally very happy for Braden Cass genuinely feel very happy about him like the white ball player far more of course because you've seen of him in the past and the way
Okay, is it me? आप फिर से म्यूट पे बात कर रहे हो अवनीश भाई congratulations great
I was
news.
thinking, is it me? Because I was waiting for Nikhil to finish and she just broke up at the end. But lots of people saying thoughts of New Zealand, of course, suffered. What was your pick of the test, if you had to put it that way? Stokes getting runs, Brook getting runs, Root now, of course, getting the most fourth innings runs in test match history, overtaking Tendulkar, which was nuts. Speaking of Brook, let me just get that stat in before I get to Akshay's thoughts. Brook only next to Bradman in this graphic, and that's because the highest batting average in away test. Remember that 317 did him a world of good in Pakistan, but even that 171 this time around, literally averaging 93 as we speak, over 1,300 runs in test cricket. More in-depth analysis of Brook in terms of his numbers, the 132 not out to start his test journey, and then, of course, as you can see, some great numbers along the way. Was that the biggest takeaway from particularly England, Akshay? Because I know nothing to play for on the WTC, but just, again, it's a transition time for the Three Lions.
Yeah, pretty much, and they've also spoken about. I mean, Ben Stokes himself said कि यार मेरे को WTC का सब समझ नहीं आता. It's too complicated. Like a part of me agrees with him. The way WTC works is slightly complicated. भाई लेकिन तो फिर भी एक नेशनल टीम का कैप्टन है. लाइक इफ यू गॉन रिकट सिंह कि हाँ मेरे को समझ नहीं आता हम क्या कर रहे हैं, इट डजंट रियली एड अप. बट या गुड टू सी जेकब बेथल डू वेल. अपना बंदा, मैं भी लाइक अवनीश सिर्फ उसी के लिए मैंने देखा, जो भी हाइलाइट्स देखा, आई वाज जस्ट forwarding the clip to his batting. It was great to watch, and yeah, looking forward to seeing a lot more of him. He recently gave an interview and of course shared his thoughts and joining RCB as well. But apart from that, all in all, Bryden Cars also did really well with the ball. वो खुद भी भाई पहली बार आईपीएल में घुस रहे. He's also landed a gig with the Sunrisers Hyderabad. So make no mistake, it'll be interesting. A very interesting year or so for England. Next year they're going to play India. So in terms of budding and youngsters, we spoke earlier about Australia and how they probably will struggle in the future. But the same can also be said about England if they're not able to, figure out their replacements. They've got more than able ones in Harry Brook and Jacob Bethel, so hopefully they will be able to get their house in order come the series against India next year.
Just on Jacob Bethel, I nearly did it for the fourth time over there. Good to see Nick's back over here. But also, I felt right after we bought him, I was just like, great selection. And I'm not just saying that now. You could hear me in the auction watch along as well. He, I think, would be an amazing addition to this RCB squad going forward. 2.6 crores might be slightly high for a guy who's not even played the IPL, so on and so forth. But if you look at some of his shot making, just the fact that he can just give you three things in the game: gun fielder, can bowl a little bit of left arm spin, everything that you want him to be. So I think he starts for me over, say, a David or a Ramari Shefford in that batting lineup of RCB. But again, coming back to the test match and what we liked of Bethel, Bryden Cast, Ben Stokes, and more, Ollie Pope keeping Nicks. I mean, is that going to be the long-term solution now? Or do you think, again, because Jamie Smith was injured? Oh, sorry, paternal leave.
Yeah, and Jordan Cox was injured, which is why he was hit on the hand, if I'm not wrong, in the practice match, if I'm not wrong. So that's why you had this swap. Very bizarre to see him go back to 6 and score runs, and he's saying that I want to go back to 3 and score runs. Good luck. Please go ahead and do it. It's completely your call. It's a tricky phase because you don't know the right order because you assume Jamie Smith will be the first guy, Jordan Cox is second. So I'm not really quite sure how do they go about it. That you put him back to 3, but then where does Jacob Bethel go? Or if it's just like how it was with Shubman Gill and Sarfaraz, because Sarfaraz he played well, he played that one game, and then once the main guys are back, he goes out of the system. So very interesting times because he looked at ease at 6. Now, can they keep him at 6? No, he wants to bat at 3. So it's a tricky phase. I personally feel it will be Smith first and Cox second.
Yeah, Cox is a great option, but like Nick's mentioned over there, injured. The other one, paternal leave, like I said. Many people, of course, raving about that catch that Glenn Phillips took. We'll ask you guys if that was probably one of the best test catches we've seen in recent times. I don't know which comes close, but they've been belters in terms of contenders.
Yes. That's just one question on that, though. Sorry. Would you, again, love that catch? Do not take it the wrong way. But the number of sitters that at times Glenn Phillips also draws makes me wonder how does this work out? Because he's taken some absolutely marvelous catches that are there in the cricket field. But then how do you drop some of the sitters that he's dropped is completely beyond my understanding. If you have any logic, please help me.
Yeah, I mean, food for thought. That really just something to think about. But Glenn Phillips just does some brilliant things as well. With Darshan saying, didn't watch the test. Is Bethel good enough to be a lock or just a one-off? Look, again, a great potential, great package, like I said, and has all the things being said about the right people in the game. Maxwell plays with him in Warwickshire, so he's spoken huge heaps about him as well. Ankit quickly on this note, giving us his salt. Beg your pardon, RSB11 salts in it, and Bethel's in it as well. He's gone for Rusik and Krunal to feature with Josh Suyash in there with Bhuvi. Catching is as much as lack his skills. Yeah, indeed, Chandan, it is, of course. Maybe he finds easy catches boring, saying path, and lots more over there. Next, MNL has a question. How many times Avnish has done the ritual MNL live? Answer, infinity always. Akshay, I've helped you out here. Not infinity always. There'll be a number on it, 64. I don't know, 69 in terms of just generally things that you can think of. In all the reels, Insta post Phillips catch came up, but like always, you wouldn't know how many you dropped. Indeed, they won't like have a low light package. It's always highlights, right? So that is that. So that's New Zealand, England done. There's no chance now England, beg your pardon, New Zealand too can make the WTC. If they beat New England 3-0, they could have had a chance, but that's not to be. One team who could definitely make the WTC final is South Africa. And let's talk about that next, because I feel that went down so crazily on day two in that 75 minutes of madness. 7 for 13, Marco Jansen, the quickest ever 7 for tests, equalizing at least with Hugh Trumbull of Australia way back in the day. And Sri Lanka being all out for a paltry 42. I know they suffered the similar fate in Asia Cup thanks to certain Siraj, but that was 50. The World Cup as well, they were around that score, 55, I think. And Nick has lost his power. It's very rare, right? In Mumbai, for people to lose their power. Mumbai, it hardly goes.
You would imagine, but clearly not the case. But in terms of the test, of course, I was lucky, I guess, that I happened to be in front of the TV screen at our workplace. I had absolutely no intention of catching the test match, but because I was in office, we all just started watching. And out of nowhere, South Africa get done with their first innings, 190 odd. We all were just talking about how Sri Lanka now actually have a chance to, come up with a nice little first innings lead, potentially win the match. WTC qualification scenarios, we're already, we've gone ahead there. And then Marco Jansen comes, and that spell was out of nowhere, man. Just brilliant spell. And to be honest, Sri Lanka were massively caught off guard, to say the least. That was just too spicy a pitch. There was too much in it. You could see the amount of seam movement that Marco Jansen was generating, even from some of the fuller lengths. You just couldn't. You absolutely could not. Like, you talk about decisive footwork being a hallmark of good batters in South Africa, especially because you've more than swing, it is seam movement that comes to mind when we talk about good pacers in South Africa. Even Vernon Philander, the guy bowled early 120s, yeah, but he wreaked just as much havoc as Dale's team did. Clearly going on to show that skill plays a much bigger role there, and Marco Jansen had loads of it. They add the fact that he's 6'6", then the fact that he can bowl at 140. Oh my goodness, that's a recipe for disaster when it comes to Sri Lanka. So yeah, I mean, not surprised. They at least made a decent comeback in the second innings. They were 100 odd for 5. From there, the 6th wicket and the 7th wicket partnerships helped them really go up to about 290, if I'm not wrong, 280, 290. But yeah, after that 42, after being bundled out for 42, there's not much you can do to try and get the game back. So yeah, all in all, not a bad test for Sri Lanka as well, but South Africa really nailed it.
Yeah, and plus you wanted Marco Jansen in the RCB 11 that you wanted. Didn't get him. He's gone to Punjab, unfortunately. Good pick by Punter and Go. But speaking of him, best figures for South Africa. We'll, of course, reiterate that through the graphic. Nichols just sorting out his light and his power pulled him in a rarity in MNL. He doesn't get this done indeed. So let's cut him some slack. Nevertheless, like Akshay was talking about, absolutely brilliant from Marco Jansen, 7 for 13, and he bettered the Kyle Abbott 7 for 29, which came in 2013, or the 7 for 61 that Shardul claimed in 2022. There's a lot of great performances in the Rainbow Nation, but this was the best in terms of Jansen. Also, Sri Lanka, on the other hand, just absolutely look at this. 13.5 overs, they were skittled out, and that is one record that will be standing the test of time. I think it won't be that bad for anyone, even though we saw Ireland being bundled out for 38 in 2019. Even if you look at the lowest scores in South Africa in test match cricket, it's the third worst in history, and this is the worst in a while. I mean, since the 1900s, pretty much, this is the worst we've ever seen. So if you're a Sri Lankan fan, it was absolutely shocking. And again, to compound your miseries, if you want to put it that way, they feature in the lowest test score since 2000. India 36 still holds the record, but Sri Lanka third on that list. We've seen a few others in our time. Right, let's just quickly try to get Nick's back on. And if he can just come through here, we'll just move everyone across and get Nick's over here. Nick's, your 2 pence about what went on. Obviously, great WTC points for South Africa, but what did you make of that 42 all out, 7 for 13, just in a nutshell?
A great spell from Marco Jansen. I mean, to do that was very, very tricky because they had to get a good first inning score. They were bowled out for a low score, and you thought, oh, Sri Lanka have a chance. But then everybody from Sri Lanka wanted to feel bad to ball, just like how India did when they were 36 all out or 46 all out. So I'll cut them some slack there in terms of, see, it is not defendable or not justifiable, but when you get out to your first mistake, it is something that we've seen happen in Test cricket very often now, that people are getting out very, very early. So just one of those horrible days for you and wrongly in the history books. But I don't know if they can come back from this. Surely they can, but the injuries to key South Africa bowlers possibly gives them some leeway that, Kodja is out, Mulder is not there, Quena Mafaka is into the squad now. So if that is something that they can work around, maybe that's good. But again, South Africa have broken another jinx of the Durban one. So I'm still saying WTC final, if South Africa make it, they are winning it.
Okay, points to remember and just predictions to note from Nikhil over there. Man, Stubbs was in red out form. I didn't think he'd adapt well in Test cricket. Thoughts, guys? Nick, you look like a ghost with that smile and light. Stubbs again. Stubbs, beg your pardon. Stubbs. Who's Stubbs? Stubbs, 122 that he got in that Test match. Second innings as well. Second 100 in his Test career. And so far, I think he's doing well in the longest format of the game, even though what he's been doing in his white ball cricket. So I generally feel that there is a lot of light in the tunnel for someone like Tristan Stubbs. Nix looks like a journalist from a war zone with the parka, saying Ashutosh Bajpai, and Santosh Udupa also saying Kamindu Mendes has now scored most consecutive Test 50 plus from the debut Test, 8 and counting. Absolutely brilliant. And Ankar Biswas to just end the Sri Lanka South Africa chat.
The streak broke in this Test.
In this Test, indeed. Sri Lanka somehow crossed 36 after being 32 from 8, thanks to Lahiru's 10, indeed. And 2 boundaries indeed over there. There was another crazy stat which I found from that Test, which was, one second, I think I did find it. Not something crazy, but like the biggest win for South Africa was Sri Lanka in Tests, and these two have played a lot of Tests. So 282 runs, this one in Cape Town in 2017, but this one 233 runs in Durban. So again, it's just for all you nerdy number people out there. Take care, Nickelby. Hope all is well. I mean, everything's well with him. It's just his power which is gone. It's not like he's honestly reflective of his mood indeed. Let's move on and talk about SMAT in a bit, boys. But I just want to ask you guys really quickly about West Indies, Bangladesh as well. What did we see from that series? Jaden Seals bowled the most economical spell ever. I don't know if you saw that, Akshay. Did you see that?
Did not see it, but of course heard of it and then ended up watching a bit of the highlights. But again, highlights में तो ज़्यादा देखने को नहीं मिलेगा क्योंकि dots तो थोड़ी ना दिखाएंगे. But phenomenal spell, 15.5 overs, 4 for 5. Crazy good stuff from him. But for me, I mean, since we are talking about the Test, for me it was Mikhail Louis. I'd spoken a lot about him during the CPL, how this guy looks the part. He really looks.
Is Mikhail Louis your Tawhid Ridoy, like how Nick's kind of has him for Bangladesh? Is he your favorite sensation now? You keep
I would have to
mentioning
say
it.
from West Indies. From West Indies, I'd have to say he's right up there because he looks very good. He looks very comfortable against spin. He's got he's also fairly well built in terms of his height, so he's well endowed. So he's got great reach. The way he was leaving balls also yesterday, he started off well. I know he didn't score a lot of runs, but he played about 60 odd deliveries. Looked very comfortable. वो देख के बहुत खुश था. This is genuinely a guy to watch out for, and I'm not even kidding. My IPL auction से पहले he was one of my wild card picks. कि भाई इसको लिया जा सकता है. And the thing is, I've had similar hopes from Shemaine Blackwood earlier. वो भी मतलब उतनी कुछ खास चली नहीं. तो अभी देखते हैं इनके साथ क्या होता है.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was just kind of whizzing through what happened in that first Test, and obviously West Indies winning by a huge margin. And right now, as we speak, the second Test is going on, day 3, first session. West Indies trail by 70 runs in Jamaica. Mikhail Louis, of course, getting all the plaudits over there. Justin Greaves, though, getting the man of the match for his 115, I think it was, a not out in the first innings, which made West Indies get a sizable 450 for 9. And like Akshay said, it was just tragic for Mikhail Louis to fall 3 short of his century. Anything else which caught our eye in that one? Nothing glorious from the bowlers. Like I said, Taskin Ahmed was brilliant, 6 for 64. Jaden Seals, like I said, economically brilliant. But this is Never going to have any repercussions on the WTC standings because Bangladesh got beat by India. West Indies were not even in contention. But just generally, if you're a Test match fan, if you still are, you can go watch that particular test. Nick, anything you saw from that? And it's good to see that your power's back on.
Yeah, glad for that. Felt weird having three flashlights in front of me, but okay. I think I loved Kemar Roach in the first test. Absolutely love watching him bowl. So him taking wickets was great. Even in this game, apart from the people that you mentioned, I think Shamar Joseph had a good time, and you can see there is that energy, there is that vibe when you see Shamar Joseph bowl. So he picked up good 3 wickets. That is something that I really like to see. With Bangladesh, I'm really slightly disappointed with. I mean, I don't know how else to be more positive. That of course you're missing too many people. Rahim is not there. Tawhid and Agars, who are different facets of the game, they are not there. But who else stands up for them is something that I'm really looking forward to. I really felt Zakir Ali is the guy who could really do it, but so far hasn't quite picked up as much as I would expect him to be. And it is difficult. I mean, see, but all honesty, when you are a part of a struggling side, it is difficult to get those right scores, those big scores under pressure. So hopefully they'll do well because Test cricket will need more people to come good. It cannot just be just 4 or 5 people doing well.
Yeah, exactly. Again, something that I can agree with you. Lots of people in the chat will agree with you, given the fact that, look, if you want to keep Test match cricket alive, you want to see interesting games, no matter what, and not just the big three, indeed. Such a timeless guy, Kemar Roach, feels like he's been playing forever, saying Darshan Senthil, who's also been giving his comments across videos. Very, very good from you, Darshan. I know you appreciated Akshay's video. You appreciated my interview with Shriyanka Padal in the Nice Academy. Go check that out, guys. We did the latest episode of the Academy episode, and that is available on YouTube. Good to great. I will take all your comments in the 12th man section, but good to see you just be, of course, chatty in the comments, which we love. We absolutely love indeed. Let's move on then to SMAT because we want to, of course, talk about the Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy and just give you a roundup of what's been happening there from everything. Delhi, of course, like I said, using 11 bowlers. Hardik Pandya's absolute low-lying catch. If you guys haven't checked it out, go check it out. But more importantly, let's start with Urval Patel and his heroics. Because if you guys haven't heard of this name, hear it right now on cricket.com's MNL. Because look, this boy, let me tell you what he did. He scored one of the fastest hundreds ever in T20 cricket history, 28 ball, and it came against Tripura, and it was absolutely brilliant. We'll get into the nitty-gritties of this and lots more in the domestic white ball scheme of things right now with Akshay and Nick. Akshay, obviously, this hit me on my socials, and I saw just a couple of shots of what this guy did that day. 28 balls, though, for any format, any cricket, you just have to tip your hat.
Definitely. I mean, last year as well, if you guys remember, we'd spoken about Jake Fraser Megak when he scored that 29 ball 100. I mean, till then, he'd not played any IPL. He was at best an okay to decent player in the BPL. But koi hai bhai, Glenn Maxwell ne bhi tweet kar diya, dekhte kya hota hai. From there, we saw how his career really took off. So, Urval Patel has been one of those, to be honest. It's good to see him break a record because that's what it takes to really enter the mainstream in terms of the narrative. He's been doing this for a while now. Arya Desai is another, again, dasher that comes to mind. Both of them are very aggressive batters. That guy's a lefty. He was also part of KKR earlier on. But both of them have been doing this for fun. Urval Patel, kudos to him. But again, like always, please take all of these records and take all of these numbers with a pinch of salt. ये इंदौर के एक स्कूल के ग्राउंड में मारा गया against Tripura. So fantastic, not taking anything away from him. Solid knock, again a knock that definitely deserves some mentioning. 28 ball में even against me 28 ball में century मारना आसान नहीं. Simply put, even if you're the greatest of batters, because it takes enormous amount of skill. But do not directly equate this to something else. And मतलब एक है बहुत अच्छा talent है, so let's hope we get to see a lot more of him, not just in SMAT, even in IPL as well. Fantastic talent to watch out for, and yeah, great knock for this side.
Look, he's gone unsold, but what I would say is that it's not flash in the pan. It's no fluke. Let's give him the credit where it is, even though it was a small ground and all of that. Because a year ago, I think he did smash an unbeaten 41 ball 100 for Gujarat in a Vijay Hazare Trophy game. And that, I think, was the second fastest run by an Indian batter in the list A cricket at the time. I think that is still literally a record that he possesses. So I feel there is something that we can look at him and say that he's a hidden gem, so on and so forth. So good on Urval Patel, because a 28 ball 100 on your resume just works really, really well. Nick, did you see that, or do you think, again, these kind of records and feats in the game, sometimes we see a lot of runs being scored by a guy in the white ball format of the game. We see a lot of people crack ridiculous records, whether it's bowlers or batters. Does this mean that Urval Patel now will suddenly be on everyone's radar because of this feat?
As Akshay said, it's good to be in the reckoning because you need that, and sometimes you need something like this only to be part of those conversations. So, if at all now in any IPL camp, if there is someone, if there's some keeper who's getting injured or they feel there is a niggle, they will possibly think about him, which is good, and that's the best that you can do with your bat. You can keep scoring runs. So, and sometimes even that may not be enough if the competition is as good. So, I don't think it's a case of who he scored again, what it is, because again, we are in a time where we are seeing teams select people on specific skills. You look at England, you look at how even Nitish Kumar Reddy, everybody had their doubts, but he's passed the eye test of people who mattered. So if Urvil is scoring runs and he passes somebody's eye test, and he was with GT, if I'm not wrong, last year, and the release, if he gets a franchise, he does well. There is nobody to complain. So I think all you can do is score runs, and I'm happy for him. But as Akshay said, yes, you take it with a pinch of salt. But remember, if it was that easy, everybody should be able to do it. But that also doesn't happen. So it's a mix of everything. But hopefully, he gets the right people's attention and he can continue to do well. That is paramount.
Yeah, onwards and upwards for Urul Patel. Of course, he has age on the side as well. Good to great saying randomly. Sorry, folks, to join this live a little bit late. So I want to talk about India and Australia. We did start talking about it in the start of the show. And we'll talk about any of the questions that you have in the 12th man segment in just a bit. Meanwhile, Nikhil Singh Pandya spitting fire in SMAT. Speaking of which, let's show you what Hardik Pandya has been doing in SMAT so far with this little depiction. 69-30 against Tamil Nadu, 41 not out of 21 against Uttarakhand, beg your pardon, and 74 not out of 35 balls versus Gujarat. Too good indeed for Hardik Pandya, and that blinder for Cat. So it just bodes well. But another man doing well in SMAT is, of course, a man that Akshay and me would love to watch in the IPL, and that is Rajat Patidar, not just captaining his side, but some useful knocks, 78-36, 62-37. I want to hide the 5 of 7 against Mizoram out of all teams. But look, Rappa, do you think, again, spin basher, he's got all the accolades right now. Do you think the stag sits well with him, or do you think he will take it with pressure? Akshay, like, how do you think he's building up to IPL 2025?
Looking good, to be honest. I did catch highlights of that knock against Punjab, the 37 ball 62. Looked so good, man. Again, the guy, he's one of those, he's probably in the same old as Rohit Sharma, just has a bit of that extra time, yaar. Pata nahi kahan se khel jata hai. There was this shot that he played to one of Punjab's pacers, offside ke upar se chhakka maar diya. Like, भाई क्या कर रहा है यार, मतलब, and Mayank Markande, मतलब बहुत बुरा लगता है मार्कंडे के लिए. He's not bowling bad at all. He's doing exactly what I would have done if I were in his place. But yeah, Rajat is just like, the way he's opened up in the last couple of years, it's great to see. And yeah, I mean, couldn't be happier about the fact that he's also part of my favorite club. But all in all, he's looking really good, and hopefully he is able to carry that form to the IPL.
Yeah, some close games also. If you look at some of the results, Kerala beating Goa by 11 runs. You look at even some results down the line.
By
I
the
think
way,
the one
Agni
game.
should be happy about how one of our homeboys did. But again, not for Karnataka, but KC Karyappa for Mizoram. A fantastic spell against Punjab. Took the game to the super over. 174 was being defended, while every other bowler went in excess of 10 or probably 9 runs per over. KC Karyappa, 4 overs, 2 wickets, 14 runs. 80 needed of 2. In the penultimate over, the guy concedes just 1 run. Punjab weren't able to get any boundaries off of him. He bowled very well. He's batting at number 6. He is Mizoram skipper. The bhai sahab full all-rounder ban ke maze le rahe hain wahan pe. And I've just been wondering since the start of the season, Agniveer Chopra, we know he comes from a family of certain repute. And then there's KC Karyappa. What a weird combination. Both of them are playing together for Mizoram. Like, who would have imagined? So it's crazy how cricket brings you together. But yeah, it was a great game to watch. Went to super over. Punjab, of course, took it off from there. And there was another game I'd like to talk about: Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. A rivalry we all love watching. Karnataka, thankfully, taking care of them this time. But it was a very bizarre call. An early morning start. The game began at 9 a.m. Tamil Nadu somehow decided to bat first. Reminds me of how last year the finals के time पे मतलब टॉस में कुछ कर लिया, कोच कुछ बोलता है, कैप्टन कुछ बोलता है. They opted to bat first, and of course, तुम वासुकी कौशिक को यार, the guy doesn't have pace, but if you give him a surface that has a bit of movement, that has a bit of juice, the guy is always going to extract every bit of juice and every bit of movement available. He did it. So did Vidyadhar Patil. Bundled out for 82. Varun Chakravarti was their highest run scorer. Again, something I not have on my bingo card. Varun Chakravarti top scoring for the side. But not complaining. Karnataka definitely won the game. So happy to see that happen as well.
Yeah, Karnataka knocking out Tamil Nadu in any cricket tournament is great, at least from Akshay in my point of view. But what's not great is Nikhil's power this evening. I don't know what is happening in Bombay, but it's a very, very rare case in Nikhil's case. Santosh Sharpa saying also Krunal bowled an economical 6.5 runs per over in a high scoring game. Only one of the two bowlers to bowl with less than 7 runs per over in that game. I love how RC fans pick out all the particular nitty gritties from their players indeed. Meanwhile, we're getting a lot of good comments as well. One from good to great saying, folks I found live on this channel here is really good compared to what I've been part of. I don't want them, but most channels never read our views, comments like you guys do. That's the beauty of cricket.com, good to great. So thank you for that. And he goes on to say, I don't want to badmouth them, but I feel like a forum which encourages viewers to have a say on live. And you can have your say at anything. If you want to like abuse certain players, you have your titled opinion, because fans are the lifeblood of every sport indeed. And X Factor also saying, hi guys, love to see you all. The all has now become just two because Nikhil's gone away right now. We'll try to get him back on. And Akshay's opinion about Mohit will give it to you in the 12th man segment for sure. But just to wrap up the SMAT highlights, Shardul getting pumped. No wonder he got unsold. None for 69 in his 4 overs. People like Rohan Kunumal tucking into him. Ajinkya Rahane, a 25 ball 50, beg your pardon, for him, which will work well. 25 ball 100 would be ridiculous, but nonetheless, more SMAT chat on your way. One more feature that I wanted to talk about was Tilak Varma, apparently. Tilak Varma, apparently, becoming the first player, male or female, to hit centuries in 3 consecutive innings in T20 cricket, which is insane. So kudos to him. He hit 151 of 67 against Meghalaya and Rajkot. I mean, following what he did in South Africa, guys. So mad effort from him. Any other things that we're missing from SMAT?
From SMAT, I don't think so. Again, a couple of interesting performances there from sides. The Northeast this time around, I know I'm clubbing them all together as one team. I'm referring to each of the teams individually, but it's good to see that this time around teams from the Northeast have been a lot better in terms of how they have been performing. Mizoram running Punjab so close. Again, Punjab side, I honestly 4 foreigner डाल दो IPL में एक आध टीम को ये हरा सकता है भाई अच्छे खासे तरीके से. What a fantastic batting lineup, what a fantastic bowling lineup. For Mizoram to be able to take Punjab to the super over, kudos to them. Similarly with Tripura as well, we saw them also do not too badly against J&K if I'm not wrong. So it's good to see, these sides coming up. We've always spoken about how it's important for India, especially as a cricketing superpower, to break away from your typical typical forces like Karnataka, like Mumbai, like Delhi, and it's very heartening to see folks or teams from the Northeast do well. There are already conversations going around about how Eden Gardens won't be available in IPL 2025, and apparently CAB, which is the Cricket Association of Bengal, is considering Tripura to be their alternate home venue. They do not because Assam's already taken care of by RR. Raipur has been used by Delhi, so they want to go to a stadium that hasn't been used before. If that happens, I know it would sound bizarre, but bhai, agar tum Northeast tak IPL ko leke ja paye, that would be a phenomenal result in my eyes for IPL. I would love to see Tripura get a chance to watch IPL, so it'll be great that way as well.
Yeah. Because you look at even KKR and what they've done over the years, they've gone to like the Badapati Stadium in Cuttack and they've spread their tentacles there as well. So Odisha has been covered as well. Nikhil's back with us in those 3 lights on his face is vivid and bright as ever. Malav saying Uttarakhand has beaten Karnataka also. They have. That's the beauty of this competition
ऑक्सीजन से
indeed.
पहले हुआ था भाई युवराज चौधरी fantastic run from him
For
that day.
sure. Good to great saying, continuing his absolute love for us. I really want to be part of all your cricket forums. Please leave a teaser when you go live priority. And he goes on to contribute saying, I feel Hardik by this time should have been part of the Indian Test team in Oz, but so disappointed to see him do all the bashings here in SMAT. It is what it is. It's his personal choice, good to great. And give us a name, good to great. There's a face there. And you've gone to say on good to great is your name. So whatever that is. Finally, let's just show you what's to watch this week. And let's wrap up the show really quickly with Akshay's quiz also to follow. But lots of cricket, as you can see. Zimbabwe, Pakistan still happening. Kamran Ghulam getting the runs in the ODI scheme of things. Even in the T20 side of the results, I mean, interesting. I wouldn't say anything more. If you guys really love your cricket, West Indies, Bangladesh, like I said, and then Friday is the all-important date for that second test, Australia, India, the pink ball test, and as well as New Zealand, England, the second test starts from then. Sri Lanka, South Africa starts on Thursday, as you can see, day one, and that should probably go on till Sunday, and then next Monday will bring you the MNL updates in that. Right, lots more to, of course, fill in for you guys in terms of the 12th man and Akshay's quiz. So what are we waiting for? Let's go on to Howzzaat and see if anyone won it last time, which was a hell of an episode. Right. Before Akshay starts his quiz, there's actually a question to the quiz master from Darshan Senthil saying, Akshay, follow-up question to your auction fee video. Do English players also pay some tariff to their counties?
So unless explicitly mentioned otherwise, no. Like we spoke about how English players are liable to pay their boards, and that's taken care of by BCCI. That's the only money they have to pay apart from their taxes at their home country. Counties, unless explicitly mentioned in their agreements, they don't have to pay any tariff as such, because the contract is always with ECB, and of course they'll also have some sort of a contract with their county. But that doesn't, you cannot have a tariff being mentioned for playing IPL. What you will have instead is a clause where if you won't be available for whatsoever reason, then you might have to pay. But this is all very private and personal. There's no blanket rule that every player has to pay. It varies from agreement to agreement. Some might have to, some don't. So yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, super. Why so scary? Nikhil Bhai saying Akash Sivasubramaniam. Unfortunately, mate, his power is gone, Akash. So that is that. Speaking of Akash, who's one of our writers, one of our own, done a great interview with this new CSK boy, Shreyas Gopal. Go check that out. It's available on written text on the cricket.com platform. And good to great. Going on to say good to great. I name my channel basis passion to perform. Well done, lad. Well done. And when is your next live on India Australia Test? There will be the Hindi live as well. Probably Wednesday, previewing the Adelaide Test and recollecting some of India's best wins in Test match cricket. And he also has a name, Arun Kumar. Good to see you, Arun. Please like this video and share it to all your friends. Right, enough of me. On to Akshay with regards to his quiz. But before Akshay got on to his quiz, I got him a great person to say something nice about.
Hi Akshay Kumar Swami, I heard that you're my big fan. So thank you so much and keep supporting and keep loving the same way. See you soon.
See you soon. Who's got her for you, bro? I mean, literally, is she the role model in every sense of the word?
I wouldn't say role model because मुझसे करीब 7-8 साल छोटी है. I'm role models. I'll have to pick them also by their age. But yeah, definitely someone I really admire a lot, and someone I've been I've definitely been looking forward to watching, not just play but also be able to talk to her someday. So hopefully that'll happen. Like she said, see you soon. So let's hope that happens. But all in all, again, fantastic job by Amish and also our backing team. Yep. So it was great. It was always great. You admire someone to get a shout out from them. I'm not complaining. I'm definitely not complaining. Yeah.
And speaking of Shriyanka Padal, that unwind will come out closer to the WPL auction. I've spoken to her about a various bunch of things. Speaking of unwinds, we're going to get a couple of prestige guests on. I mean, one is a BGT one, which will come out this Friday. We won't give you an introduction of who he is, but Akshay is also going to be talking to our latest RCB recruit. We'll let that simmer for a bit, but it's going to be a fantastic watch indeed, and good to great indeed. She's a bundle of joy, energy, however you want to put it, and I'm looking forward to that India women's and Australia women's test as well, apart from the women's Premier League. Indeed. Right. So look, the How's That quiz segment has already gone too long without the How's That actually being come on. So Akshay, without further ado, what is it this time around, and who won last week's quiz?
Last week's, of course. Let's have the Howzzaat out first. So last week, of course, we were talking about bidding wars. Mega auctions are known for their bidding wars, and the biggest one in the history of IPL happened this very edition. We wanted to know who the player is. Once again, we defined very clearly what do we mean by bidding wars. A player who's bid for by just two teams from start to finish. Those are the kind of players we're talking about. Those are the bidding wars we were talking about, because in its truest sense, that is a bidding war. And of course, the answer to that is Prasidh Krishna, 9.5 crores, start to finish. Rajasthan and Gujarat were the only two teams to go after him. It almost seemed like बाकी सारी teams को अक्ल आ गई थी कि भाई प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा रहने दो, इंजरी है, रिस्क नहीं लेने का. Rajasthan and Gujarat probably did not get the memo. They went after him. So that's the correct answer, of course. And Shlok Bhadge is the lucky winner this time around. Make sure you do DM us on Twitter, and our social media team will do the rest. So that was that from last week. This week again, we thought auction ka hi karte hain fir se, and then we will probably, hopefully, end our auction themed Howzzaats going forward. But this is one of them. Very simple. Who is the highest earning IPL player in the history of the tournament? So what I'm talking about is players, of course, cumulatively would have earned a certain amount. So I want you guys to identify who is the player in the history of IPL to have earned the most out of the tournament, and I want the player and the amount. So सिर्फ player से काम नहीं चलेगा, because तो फिर तुक्का लगा के कोई भी हो सकता है. Amount भी चाहिए अपने को इस बार. Player and how much you think they've earned in the history of the IPL throughout. मतलब अभी 17 season हो चुका है boss. What I want you guys to tell me is across 17 seasons, how much money has this player earned and who the player is. Of course, good to great. AK Arun Kumar, there is a prize to be won. You are eligible to win a 500 rupee Amazon voucher from us. Hope the question is clear now, Santosh Udupa. Of course, like always, please wait. Do not key in your answers here. You've got to wait for the live stream to end in order to stay eligible. Right now, you're just helping your fellow viewers. Wait for the live stream to end, and of course, keying in your answers in the main comment section to stay eligible. So once again, to be clear, let's have the Howzzaat on. Who is the highest earning player, both cumulatively in terms of the amount, and of course, who the player is in itself in the history of the tournament? So two parts of it. Let's see who gets it right this time around. Avnish already having a very big chuckle there. We'll save that for later. But yeah,
They're just no. I'm laughing because they're absolutely so smart. This community we've built. I swear to fucking God. Like generally, like we give it some sort of thought. At least Akshay does. And this one, he was actually bouncing ideas of us in the office earlier this afternoon, and it was a good one. It actually really kind of even tested some of the boys' knowledge and racked their brains in the head. But again, some people are kind of smart in our community. But again, like I said, whoever gets it right after the show ends in the comments wins it indeed. This quiz stuff really makes sense. It does. And it's been part of the Monday Night Live. If you're new to the show, Arun Kumar, please like and subscribe. Very unfortunate that I don't speak Hindi, but understand a bit. I'm from Tamil Nadu. It's fine. Subscribe, Pananga. If you're new to the channel, please.
Yeah, thanks for that. But sorry, Arun Kumar, hope you understood the question, because I might have slipped into a bit of Hindi. If not, do let us know. We'll make sure we clarify it once again in English. For USD to INR conversions, of course, you've got to use tabka rates, bhai. You've got to use the rates in those specific periods. If you're talking about 2008, you'll have to go and figure out USD to INR what the rates were. It was 43.3. We also Googled, because we also had to ensure that the numbers were right. 43.3, then 45.6 in 2011. But of course, you've got to use USD to INR rates from those specific years.
Yeah, indeed. Let us know, of course, in the comments, and we'll get to Nick's right now, who I know I've parked in a while in the dark, and we'll throw some 12th math questions to him indeed. But before we go there, again, more appreciation coming through from good to great, which has just been fantastic. Just want to hear Nikhil once. He will. It's all like we're holding him hostage. He will speak all things cricket in the next segment, in the 12th man segment. So let's go. Right, let's give Nick the first one in the 12th man segment. Remember how this works is you guys key in your comments in terms of questions, anything in terms of live cricket in between, and we'll answer it for you guys. Good to great. We'll start with you, because of course you've been asking quite a few questions. In fact, he made a statement, Nix, and I don't know how much you agree with this or disagree. I'll read it out for you and then you can have your say. I did not pick Gill here because he just played one warm-up game against a depleted bowling attack, which I feel is not good enough to swap KL out at the top, and Gill at 6 will not serve any purpose. Do you think Gill walks in for you? Can you just clarify your earlier 11? I'll put it out as well, Nix.
Yeah, I think 100% it just walks in. I mean, you have done the body of work to be in this position that if you miss out due to injury, then you definitely walk back. Had it been something else, had it been a long layoff and then you wanted him to get his fitness test, then maybe it would have been the Mohammad Shami route that you play a lot of games, prove your fitness, and then come in. The spot is again debatable. There have been people, I mean, all of us have had our thoughts and theories that maybe 5 or 6 is a spot that Gill might be better served in the future. But at this point of time, he's given the number 3 spot. He should stay there. End of.
Interesting. If Gill does walk back in, I think he merits it because what he did last time as well, Arun Kumar or / good to great, you would see that he's not that bad in Australian conditions. Mayank going on to say or ask us right now, if there would be such a long gap between 2 test matches in India, foreign media would have raised this issue. Why, in the case of such thing in Australia, not even questioned by the journalists? Akshay, what would you feel is the answer for this? Do you think they've just spaced it out because they need to, of course, pencil in the Boxing Day test and the New Year test, which is just part of Aussie tradition? Or, again, did they start the series too early?
I mean, see, we've always had longish breaks between tests because there are these domestic games that happen, the Prime Minister's 11 versus India. So such to ensure that the visiting team gets enough match practice, gets a couple of practice games in. That's pretty much why there has been such a long gap. And even in this case, you can understand why. Also, both sides in a way, I mean, India, of course, are playing in Australia after an extended period. Australia themselves are playing a test match after nearly 8 months. If I'm right, 9 months, in fact. Feb is when they last played against New Zealand. So they themselves would want to, ensure कि भाई सीधा अगर हम एक साथ 2-3 टेस्ट खेलेंगे, the players themselves would be at the risk of injuring themselves. So there are a bunch of these things also that go into ensuring how the schedule works. It's not just about कि break दे दिया तो break के बीच में कुछ नहीं करे. Players are going through their training and whatnot. So yeah, I wouldn't put this against them. In fact, up until as late as about 20 years ago, it was very common to see a month-long tour or even up to a month and a half because there were so many practice games happening in between. Of course, the culture of practice games has slowly gone obsolete. But yeah, I see no reason why you shouldn't have a break. यार 5 दिन का टेस्ट मैच आसान नहीं होता. I know हम लोग आसानी से गाली दे देते हैं. भाई साहब पहले दिन के बाद ही हालत खराब हो जाती है, उसके बाद you still have 4 more days. So you've got to understand why that happens.
Yeah, and normally when India travel, they travel to Australia and England in a kind of largely sparse time, 1.5 months this time as well. So again, BGT vibes and just prolonging it as much as possible. Failure boy sort of saying best bowling attack, spin and pace, both grounds GT. Clearly the ban is from Ahmedabad, or at least a huge fan of the Gujarat Titans. Going on to say Rabada, Kotsi, Siraj, Prasid, Rashid, Washington, Kishore Phillips and Rashid Khan, also an all-rounder. Do you think they have one of the best bowling lineups on paper or in the squad? Akshay first and then Nix.
Pace attack for sure, and also pace attack that's actually suited to their conditions. All of them are, hit the deck bowlers who hit those hard lengths and can extract a bit of seam movement at pace. So that way, great job done. But आपने 9 नाम गिना यहाँ पे, आपको लगता है GT एक ही 11 में इतने नाम गिना सकते? I mean, can they play all of them together? But all in all, still, I wouldn't say otherwise. They definitely are one of the better pace attacks.
Nix, in your analysis of Gujarat, you already kind of second-guessed your starting 11 and the bowlers in it. Can you just reiterate those choices from all the choices that Failure Boy sort of has given us?
Yeah, I think the few names that will definitely start is you say expect Siraj, Rabada, and Prasid to start with Rashid. I think those are the 4 names that definitely start. I would give anything Failure by Saurav if Sai Kishore plays all games. And that is the base expectation that I have. Okay? The guy has not been able to get a lot of games. Sundar might be the guy who starts first, but they have Mano Sutta, they have Nishan Sidhu as well. So it is anybody's guess who they will start there. But I think in terms of pace, I agree with Akshay there. They have an attack for those conditions. But I still feel again, Siraj will have to do well with the in the back overs. And if he gets good partner, whether it is Rabada, whether it is Prasid or somebody else, we'll have to see. But yeah, one of the best attacks, yes. Spin, maybe no, because we don't know who they'll play.
Interesting. And the ground dimensions also are huge and no price for guessing of that. Adyabat saying NKR looks solid just looking in the future. Can you see him as a second seamer in Indian home conditions? Again, be very different because India have gone for that three spinner template. How often? And I don't know if that's going to change over a period of time. It should, given what happened last series against New Zealand. Akshay, do you think, really quickly, NKR can be inducted into home tests as well? Again, conditions dependent, right?
As a second pacer, probably, I mean, it's a fair shout given that he's already started well in Australia. Bhai, India mein to aur bhi aasan hi hoga that way. And it'll save India the trouble of having to go with two pacers. I mean, imagine a bowling attack that's something like Ashwin, Jadeja, Washi, Sundar, three out of these four. Then NKR and probably one of Siraj or someone. भाई मतलब तुम्हारा बैटिंग नंबर 10 तक जा रहा है. ठीक है, चाहे तो तुम कुलदीप को खिला लो. That's the luxury they'll have then. They can actually, it'll be a lot more easier for them to probably play Kuldeep as well. So it's not a bad shout, but it depends on how the overall combination is looking like. Are there any slots available at the top where NKR can also bat? Because वो भी अपने को देखना पड़ेगा, where will he fit in the batting lineup? But not a bad shout at all.
Okay, interesting. Let's take some more questions right now. Aparna Ganesh is the new name that has, of course, popped up in the cricket.com community. If you're new, Aparna, please subscribe and like this video. Hello, she says. Dumb question I've held back. What is pink ball, guys? Nothing's a dumb question, and especially cricket.com welcomes all you guys in terms of loving the game. Pink ball essentially has been introduced into test match and the scheme of things there, Aparna, purely because to get people watching cricket in the longest format in the night. So the pink kind of just is increasing visibility for the batters there. So that's why people, of course, use the pink ball. Nix is showing it out for you in terms of the lacquer and all of that stuff. So if you play with the traditional red ball under lights, you can't really pick it up. So hence the pink ball, and the pink ball test is happening in Adelaide. So hope we've answered your question in that regard. Let's move on to another one, but appreciate your question, Aparna. Good luck with everything this week that you do. I feel Rohit should open because it shows a positive captain, not a captain who's hiding behind top four to make the ball old. He should open and lead from the front, as it is a negative vibe if he bats at number 5. And Akshay is laughing only because he is going to make a point saying Rohit has to kind of combat the second new ball also, because if he's batting at 5 or 6, he can't run away from that. So again, for people who didn't hear you at the start of the show, Akshay, why do you want to bat at 5 or 6? Is it because he's been used to that position, or is it just because it's working at the top? Why change things when it's all broken?
Exactly the latter. I mean, why do you have to change? You know, Rahul and Jaiswal have done a good job, and importantly, I don't think Rohit will be able to do that role. When was the last time you remember Rohit actually spending time in playing 150, 200 deliveries for not a lot of runs? You don't see that. That's not Rohit. That isn't Rohit's style of play. And I don't think, this is my opinion, I don't think Rohit's style of play will work in Australia, especially in these conditions. Given that, I feel he will be more suited to at number 6. To be honest, like I said earlier, ideally तो अभी 11 उनके बिना अच्छा बन रहा है. अभी उनके आने के बाद उनको force fit करना पड़ेगा. And that's why I feel number 6 is where he'll again, if he decides to just go after bowlers and be able to score those 30 ball 40s or 35 ball 45s, I feel number 6 is where he'll be more at ease with. So that's pretty much my thinking. Yeah, and also, भाई ये मतलब पॉजिटिव कैप्टन हाइडिंग बिहाइंड ये सब नहीं, इतना नहीं सोच रहा है, कोई नहीं सोच रहा है. एज लॉन्ग एज द टीम इजंट थिंकिंग, दे कुडंट, आई डोंट थिंक दे बी वरीइंग कि भाई अक्षय कुमार स्वामी बैंगलोर में क्या सोच रहा है रोहित शर्मा के बारे में. नहीं सोच रहा है भाई, वो खेलेगा उसको जहां खेलना है, जैसे खेलना. सो आई होप दे डोंट sort of push Rohit at the top only because they think they have to send out a message. I don't think that'll be worth it.
Okay, Nix has got his power again. It's been on off, pretty much like how I was going to say something else, but let it be. Titan should have picked him instead of Anuj Rawat, saying Mala Basar. Good opinions over there. Urvil Patel.
Yeah.
Giant
Sorry,
J saying thoughts.
Sorry,
go on.
just wanted to add the bit on. So I was looking for something. I think even Rohit might have lost this in the recent conversation, but it was only at the start of the year that he played a couple of knocks with over enough time in the middle. So I just want him to go back to that. He played a very good knock against England. Both of them were in excess of the time that he spent 160 balls for 103 that he scored. And then he also scored a good 131 in Rajkot. That also came up 196 balls. So,
even in Delhi, right? Delhi against Australia.
Yeah, so Delhi again at 212 balls. So that is something that I was hoping that they will just, all this noise after Kanpur is something that will just go away. I think all of us have also been caught up in the euphoria of batting aggression and all of that. All I wanted, see, there was also this interview of Rohit where he said, for England, I had to change my grip. And, that is how I batted so well in England because I had time. I had time to practice. So I think practice is the only thing that is maybe something that may make Rohit bat down the order. Otherwise, I think he should just stick out up top because if Rohit does well up top, it will give absolute freedom to 4, 5, 6, 7 to just play the way they want to. So hopefully Rohit can do that.
Okay, interesting. I know Nikhil's internet and power has been kind of choppy, but don't blame him. He's always been on point with his tech. But look, essentially that is that. Just tuned in. Are you guys just talking about the Indian team? By the way, I love your post IPL auctions review with Dan Messon. Thank you so much for the love, Mohit. Appreciate your comment over there. Hi guys, nice to see you. Who do you think will be Australia's fifth bowlers? Because Marsh is set to play as a specialist batter. Yeah, I think Marsh, Labuschagne, I mean, if he's...
Yeah, exactly. It's Manas Labuschagne. That's how he's. By the way, that's the pronunciation.
Labuschagne.
Like it's German. So he said the K from the epiglottis is also a part of it. Yeah.
It's like Labuch.
Yeah.
Just joking. It was a joke, man, to all the Canada lads over there. Anyway, I feel Rohit, yeah, we took this one. Is this the first IPL season where there are no Bangladesh players in the team squad? In fact, there's just about 8 or 9 nations.
I was actually trying to think of it. 8 में था, 9 में था, 10 में था, 11 से 19 तो Shakib था. But 2020 Shakib Al Hasan wasn't there. I just confirmed it because 2019 he was there for SRH. 2020 he did not play. Then 21 he was bought back by KKR. 22 of course it was Mustafizur. 22, 23, 24. So 2020 was the last season, and then this was the first season. This is the second. So good spot there, Santosh.
Okay, super. Last couple of more questions and we'll run away because I have a lot of things to get into. Tushar Singh saying, do you guys see PBKS not retaining Chahal next year and buying another Australian if he doesn't perform this idea? 18 crores is a lot, brother, so I don't think that's going to be the case. Let's speedily move on to Arnav Singh's question. Don't you think BCCI's thought process is so much more social media driven from Gauti's head coach team selection and now also Rhodes' position after all the drama? I don't think they will actually chop and change to the Rhodes position. They'll stick to their guns. Maybe after Australia, they'll have a go at it. Good to Great saying, I feel yesterday was PM11. They could have played a 25 over on a grandstand basis for each side instead of an ODI-like stuff. It was marred by rain as well. So that's why I think they had to just kind of force a result in many ways. And we took that one. There was one from Ashutosh Patpar said, do you think pink ball...
You take this.
I mean, personally, Ashutosh, I think it's still part of the ICC mandate. So I think pink ball test will happen. But again, I think it does have an expiry date to it, as much as it is a very enlightening way to resuscitate the game. Is there a way to get Cameron Green back next season? Asking Mohit.
Auction में आएगा, आरसीबी को पैडल उठाना पड़ेगा, आरसीबी को लेना पड़ेगा. I'm assuming by we he refers to RCB. If not RCB, जो भी team है, they'll have to buy him back at the auction. Just a couple of things. One was Mohit. Someone had asked about Mohit Rathi. What do we make of him? Decent leggy ad, but batting to consider mat karo. I know he's a middle order batter. Played a couple of games or probably just the one game for Punjab Kings. He looks like a decent leggy, but again, more of a backup option and not necessarily a first 11 starter. So if RCB really want to start with the leggy, it will be Surya Sharma. He'll be their first choice leggy, and then from there they'll take it from there. And second thing, quite a few
backup option.
Backup ka backup. No, backup ka backup. So yes,
backup.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Quite a few of you were asking about the India-Australia series, WPL and all of that. So we are, so there is a new property in the works. We will be focusing on women's cricket as well. Of course, it is something we all enjoyed covering earlier on. Now that there's an ODI World Cup coming up next year, so we will be trying and doing something. Hopefully, it'll start soon enough and we will be covering the WPL auction. There's the India-Australia series. India plays West Indies in an ODI and T20I series as a women's Ashes. A lot of cricket coming up in the next couple of months. Rest assured, we will be covering it. So stay tuned. Fingers crossed, we will be starting very soon on that front as well.
Okay. X Factor saying a big prediction from all of you guys. How many runs will Rohit make in innings and how many 50s and 100s? I mean, 2 and 2. I'm guessing 2 50s, 2 100s, and then 2 and 2 low shows as well. So pretty much a mixed bag of results for Rohit. That's just my opinion. But I would speed on to the next question because there's tons coming through right now immediately just before we end the show. Why IPL didn't pick Bangladesh players is because of political reasons. I don't know whether it was that. I think it's probably because of availability. Mustafizur Rahman was really good for CSK at the start of last season. So he should have got a bid.
Nahid Rana maybe to some extent.
Even Rishad Hussain did pretty well in the World Cup, but again, not IPL yet.
जावेद को बिड नहीं मिल रहा है, रिशाद के पास आप कहां चले गए भाई? पहले डोमेस्टिक वालों को तो मिल गया. I mean, they should probably get that.
For sure.
But agree.
And next you take the last one from Adyan Singhal, who's been absolutely going mad, saying Rohit succeeds at 5. Till how long do you think he'll be able to hold up spots if he actually bats in the middle?
I think England series is the be all and end all, is what I feel. Again, from the longer point of view, that you want the transition to happen at home, so you play the tougher away twos and then you take a call who bats where for the home series. I think even with Gill, I think England series is where he should be batting at 3. And if at all you want to make any changes, make it after the England series. So to me, nothing changes till the England test.
Okay. Interesting. Nicholas frozen again. It's just been absolute shambles from his side. He's now back with us. It was a lively live nonetheless, saying good to great. And hi guys, why we stopped posting BGT? We're going to get a live show tomorrow, my producer Shauna tells me. Just of course looking ahead to that Adelaide test in Hindi, so on and so forth. And one more comment just came through right now, but yeah, from good to great again. He's just been absolutely chatty. He's saying, I feel bad that you guys are winding up now. Really enjoyed this live to the core. Thanks all folks, and looking forward to every live with you guys. Brilliant words to live by. Quickly like this video. I know it hasn't got the appeal as last week's MNL because of all the IPL chatter, and this is just got about 500 views, but you guys will watch it throughout the week. Give it some like, give it some loves. It's just about 40 likes right now. Give 50 likes before we leave. And remember, we're about 250 away from 100K. So please subscribe if you're on that journey with us. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from all of us. I need to go and, of course, get myself drunk again because I've sobered up with you lads. I don't know what's happening. But nonetheless, Akshay, mushroom soup has gotten cold. You need to heat it. And Nikhil needs to figure out power problems with the Maharashtra board. I don't know what is a BBMP in Bombay?
BMC, right?
BMC, right? Unbelievable.
Let's get working.
Anyway, on that note, thanks Nikhil, thanks Akshay for your time. A good episode 56. You guys have enjoyed previous episodes before. Enjoy this one throughout the course of the week and catch us on Spotify as well. Until the next time, it's a goodbye from me. We'll see you soon and catch us with some great content as usual along the way. Cheers.
Thank you.